This is your five-star spot for a smorgasbord of information from RecallGavin2020.com. In a tasty, non-caloric, gluten-free bite. It's Friday night at the French Laundry with Executive Chef Oren Heatley and Maitre d' Mike Netter.
Well, you heard it. Yep, Friday night at the French Laundry. No, I said that to a couple of people, and they said, not me. Well, I'll inform you. I'm Carrie Kasem. Mike's out tonight. Mike Netter, we got Orrin Hatch. I'm staring at him on a screen right here. I'm waving to him and Alma and everybody else that's here. But we got some very special guests. Angela Marsden, of course, from Pineapple Hill Saloon and the video that went viral. I'm going to let her talk about that and why she's here. She's been on the show several times. Mm-hmm. And Evan Wexell, he's a comedian. If you don't know him, look him up. He wrote a song about the recall, and it's going to be my first time hearing it. I said, as long as there's no swear words.
No.
As long as there's no swear words.
My first time too.
Yeah, I think it's everybody's first time. So we're going to have fun tonight. I think Orrin's going to call in. I don't know if Mike will. Is that I don't even know. Oh, we got Magdalena on. It's going to be a great show. My first question to you, because I said something this week. And I almost moved out of California this last year. I spent 4 or 5 months in Florida. I came back to get the rest of my stuff, and it was really crazy. I started getting work. Hey, can you do this show? Hey, can you do this show? It was like everything that, I had been waiting for the year because it was so slow started to happen. So I stayed. And then I thought, well, you know what? I think if Gavin Newsom goes, I won't sell my home. I think I'll stay. And California is worth it, right? It's worth fighting for. So I think it's the best state in the union. And I love it here. You got the mountains, you got the ocean, you got the desert, you got the forest, you got everything here. It's beautiful. And so I wanted to ask you a question, and this is for everybody out there. I don't care if you're a Democrat, you're an independent. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care what you are. I just want to hear from you. And I want both sides. If you don't think the governor should go, I want to hear from you. I want to know why. And if you think the governor should go, I want to hear that too. But my question is, have you been planning on moving out of California? Or do you know somebody that's already moved? And for me, it's if the governor doesn't leave office, are you out? That's what I want to know. Give me a call, 800-222-5222. That's 800-222-5222. Because I think, for the first time, I'm really going to just pack up and go if this guy stays in office. I know, maybe that's like, I don't know, like, a cop-out.
Well, I think you're being honest because it's funny. I have friends that come into my pub that have been coming in, for the whole 12 years and before me, and they just had a post our last day in our swim in our pool, our farewell to LA, going to Nashville.
Yeah.
And I honestly, especially with the new mandates that they're talking about putting in place and stuff, the anxiety of trying to run a business. I literally have, and I've been one of the people who said, don't go, we've got to fight. And my fight is and has been to get a new governor. And if we don't, I don't know how much longer I can keep doing it either. Yeah. And I hate to admit that because I'm a fighter and I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to do all I can for California. But at the end of the day, I can't imagine what it's going to be like when he knows that he's not being recalled and he has full reign. I'm terrified.
And what he's going to do, because he's vindictive, right?
He's very vindictive.
Very vindictive.
Yes.
And so if for some reason he stays in office, it is really scary.
Harry,
really
you know what's interesting is that he's been touting to bring up, and because this is on my mind as a business owner, the proof of vaccination to get into places. So he's been touting, which a lot of people, I don't know if they know this, that he is implementing right now, working with people from Silicon Valley to put in the most advanced, best vaccine verification system in the United States. I'm someone who medically can't have the vaccine. and the anxiety that I'm already experiencing, even as a business owner, knowing that LA County may now mandate this, and 50% of the county has it, 50% of the county doesn't. Where can I go to the grocery store? Can I go? I am. It's awful. So I can't imagine him staying in.
No, I can't imagine him staying in at all. And I am a big proponent of it's your body. You choose
Yes.
what goes in it. If
Right.
you want to be vaccinated, great, be vaccinated.
Yes.
I never had a problem with vaccines until I became vaccine injured. And in 2007, got a tetanus shot, put me in the hospital. I couldn't. I had stuff coming out of my body I have never seen before.
Wow.
Couldn't breathe. Was on an IV. I'm like this, and I'm never sick. I'm never sick.
Wow.
And that put me down, and I never missed work. And I was out for quite a while, and I never fully recovered. So I took 2 years ago, I took a year off my life and to get better, because that's how long it took me. If I take another vaccine, it could kill me.
Right.
Why would I risk that? Right?
It should totally be, you confer with your doctor, and it's my body, my choice.
Yeah.
You do what's best for your health, not a politician,
Right.
not a bar. I mean, I literally, I have tuberculosis. I'm highly allergic to latex. I mean, I had a cortisone shot 2 years ago and went into anaphylactic shock and
Yeah.
ended up in the hospital.
There's lots of people
So-
who can't. There's lots of people who can't do it. We have some calls. The question is, if Gavin Newsom stays in office, are you staying in California? Are you going to stay in this state if we continue to have the governor we have now? Whether you say yes or no, I want to hear from you. 800-222-5222. That's 800-222-5222. Magdalena. We have Magdalena from San Francisco. You're on Friday night at the French Laundry. Hey there.
Hi, sweetheart. Thanks for thinking of me. Thanks for acknowledging me.
Absolutely. How you doing?
Listen, I got to tell you what's going on in San Francisco.
Okay.
The sheriff's department in San Francisco is refusing all these mandates. They say they'd rather retire or quit than go by what London Breed wants to do about these mandates, like with the vaccine and
Wow.
the mask and everything.
Yeah.
That is amazing in San Francisco. It's like we're finally waking up here. Thank God.
Magdalena, that
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah, that's really great.
And they're having all these mask mandates and stuff. Nurses are not going to take the shot. Nurses are going to walk out. I'm in West Portal area in San Francisco. The people here are not walking around with masks on, thank God. I mean, it's like finally San Francisco is turning the tide. Every day I go out there, ladies, and to give my flyers and talk about what Gavin's done. And unfortunately, we lost the case.
Yeah.
I know that's such a bummer.
I can't
But we're
believe
gonna fight
that.
back.
Yeah.
So you're at let me get back to the question. The question is, I'm going to stay and fight. I've been here 41 years, sweetheart. I'm not going anywhere
Yeah.
because I believe in the people. There's 2 people in our legislature that has gone to bat for us, that have 40-something lawsuits against Gavin, plus our own recall lawyer. So the thing is that I think he's going to get recalled, but if he doesn't, we got another year to put up with him, but hopefully not, because he may end up like Cuomo.
And
It may be a Cuomo situation, okay?
You know what's so crazy about
too?
what's so crazy about the Cuomo situation is this guy's going down not for killing over
Right.
thousands of
I know.
elderly people that he killed, but he's going down because he sexually harassed women, and he was the one who kept accusing others of doing it, and that's what people do. They accuse others of what they themselves are doing, and he was the harshest critic of like people who were Me Too'd. And
I'm going to tell you, New Yorker lady, it kind of hurts me too. But I'm going to tell you, it makes it bad for our culture, right?
yeah,
Right.
Yeah. Well, Magdalena, thank you so much. We've got calls to get to, and
I know.
so
I love
appreciate
you.
it.
Love you,
I love you
Magdalena.
too. Yes.
Bye.
Bye. 800-222-5222. Are you staying in California if Governor Newsom wins? And why? I want to know why. We got Tom in Anaheim. Tom, what's going on?
Yes, I do plan on staying.
Okay.
And the reason is because I think Californians don't mind paying more taxes. We've passed the gas tax, and now we passed the hog and chicken tax. My bacon and egg breakfast was going up, so I think.
And you like that?
And you like that? You like it? Okay.
I think Californians shouldn't mind paying more taxes.
Yeah, because we have
the
that.
sun tax.
Yeah.
If they would like to live in California, they should pay the sun tax. And
And we should pay $1.20 more per gallon for gas. Yes, for the ocean, for everything. I agree with you. Okay, look, we got to take a quick break. Thank you so much, Tom, for calling in. Oh, when we come back, we want to hear more from you. We're going to take the rest of your calls. You're listening to Friday Night at the French Laundry. I'm Carrie Kasem, filling in for Mike Netter and Orrin Heatley. We'll be right back.
And they call me red-handed, eating at the place next door.
Were there a lot of people there?
Picture this, it was not that vacant, like 100 people.
All right, that was a good first segment there. Good to hear from
That was a
Magdalena.
Great segment. Great segment. Yep, absolutely. So we got rejected at the court today, which is not that big of a deal. We knew that the courts were biased anyway. What we were challenging was the governor and I both had the ability to present an argument to the Secretary of State for and against the recall. The arguments could be 500 words long, and they had to be factual and accurate. And you had to sign under penalty of perjury that the information that you provided in these arguments were not misleading, not false, innuendo, or slanderous or libelous, or misleading and false. So the governor, in his argument, the only argument that he made in opposition to the recall was that this is a Republican power grab. It's a Republican abuse of the recall process. And it's done by national Republicans and the same Republicans that had participated in trying to overturn the election, and the same national Republicans who stormed the Capitol back on January 6th, which is all bullshit. And we all know that it's bullshit.
Right.
So if a lie is told often enough and it goes unchallenged, it becomes the truth. And we wanted to put it on public record that we oppose his misleading, false information, his big lie on every level. And we're not going to let him get away with making those allegations without fervent opposition, knowing that the liberal courts in California were going to reject us. And I'll tell you what, folks, they will stretch themselves.
Oh, we're going back on, Orrin.
Into a as far as they can.
And Mater D. Mike Netter.
Dream of Californication. Dream of Californication.
And we are back. Friday Night at the French Laundry. French Laundry, for those of you who are going, why is it called this? And I've actually had some people say that. And then some people laugh and say, oh, that's clever. The French Laundry was, what is it? It was a 2-star Michelin restaurant, 2-star?
Yes.
3-star. The only 3-star Michelin restaurant in California.
Mm-hmm.
I think, one of them. Okay. I hope I'm getting this right. Anyway, this is where when we were all told to mask up and you can only be around so many people, you can only eat with people outside, Thanksgiving, outside, all these rules for thee, but not for me. This is when he was caught eating at that restaurant with all of his lobbyist friends. Gavin Newsom. He was, and then he apologized to everybody, but he wasn't sorry.
Have you ever noticed he always has that smile on his face?
The smirk.
The smirk.
Oof.
Even when he apologizes.
Oof. I know.
The Gavin grin.
That's
Gavin
right.
grin.
Angela Marsden. We got Evan Wexell. We're going to be talking to them more. I'm going to hear from you right now. 800-222-5222. That's 800-222-5222. Are you staying in California if the governor doesn't get out of office? If he wins another year of this, are you staying or are you leaving? We got, let's see, who's left here? John in Irvine. Well, if you're in Irvine, you haven't really left California, but what's happening?
Good evening, ladies. I left California 2 months ago for Oklahoma. I'm a contractor, and it started with AB5, but I'm back here in California 1 week a month. And
Wow. Yeah.
it started with the AB5 issues
Yeah.
and the COVID shutdowns, and watched businesses that I frequented shut down, big mom and pops and et cetera, closed because of all the shutdown, all the other political stuff that's been going on.
Wow.
The city of Tulsa, where I moved to, offered me a $10,000 relocation fee to leave California and work virtual. Gasoline here is under $3 a gallon.
Wow.
The last 2 months of writing checks for my living expenses I paid cash for a house that was the same size as I had in Irvine for about 40% less. And my expenses for insurance and everything else is down about 35%.
John, how long did you live in California?
My family moved here in 1970.
Wow.
My dad bought a house in Irvine then for $24,000.
Wow. Was it so? I mean, this is heartbreaking, right? I mean, truly heartbreaking to watch California go this way. I mean, I feel that way
because I spent most of my working life in the aerospace business in the Los Angeles area, and it started during the Reagan administration. It really peaked and worked great, and then it slowly deteriorated under different regulations like Prop 65 and other regulations that forced manufacturing businesses to leave the state because it cost about 35% more in California to manufacture.
They're making, opening businesses are they, almost impossible. They're making it almost impossible. It is impossible. It's not almost, it is impossible. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is. Well, we're sorry you left, but I might be joining you, I have to say. And I do feel like I'm copping out because I am a fighter. If you know anything about me, and for people who don't know me, I had to fight to see my dad. It took a year. I won a major case, and I changed the law in, pretty much half the United States, dealing with elder abuse, curbing elder abuse. And that was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. Wow. And I feel like I'm copping out here, right?
No.
It feels like I cannot deal with this suppressive kind of like government. I mean, it feels heavy.
Really, really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, the anxiety that I've had since Wednesday, learning that LA County is going to possibly do a stricter vaccine mandate than New York. It's just unbearable. And when you talk to the small businesses with brick and mortar, they say, if we could leave, we could. But now our businesses aren't worth anything. Yep. And how do we leave? What do we leave? We leave.
Are you
nothing?
technically allowed in your own business? Because
that's a good crime.
You own the business.
I'm wondering.
Well, here's somebody. We have Heidi in Fresno. She's saying the same thing. Heidi, how's it going?
Well, let me see if I can get this out real quick because I know time's limited. If I could leave, I would. But I have two elderly parents I've been caring for off and on. My dad has had a stroke. My mom has had cancer twice. My mother-in-law home in hospice. And my sister-in-law diagnosed with cancer second time going for surgery. I have an autoimmune disorder. And it's been in remission 20 years. But I haven't had to see a doctor. I'm being told that it's hard to get a religious exemption to pass the vaccine.
It is because of 277.
Yeah.
They passed 277 in 2015. Right. But medically,
was that Pan? Did Pan do that?
Yeah.
I don't.
Senator
that was
Pan.
his bill.
Yeah.
So when Gavin went to the French Laundry, he did a French Laundry 2.0 when he came here with George Lopez to Los Amigos.
Oh, I saw that.
Wow.
And they didn't realize when George was recording, hey, Gavin, how can I get the vaccine? They didn't realize that it was showing the table set for the two of them.
Wow.
It's due as, I say not as I do. That's what's going on here. And it's just this hierarchy. And it's unfortunately, he's a public servant. I think a lot of politicians have forgot that. They're serving us, not serving them or not serving, their biggest donors. Like their biggest donor, this blew me away. Gavin Newsom's biggest donor gets 120 billion gallons of water to use a year. Did you know this?
Yeah.
Wow.
120 billion. Now, let me tell you how much that is. That's enough for Los Angeles and San Francisco for an entire year.
Wow.
And we have farmers that are losing crops. We have farmers that can't feed the rest of the nation because there's not enough water. But his biggest donor gets the 120 billion. Unbelievable, right?
Unbelievable.
Thank you so much, Heidi, for calling in. I really hope your situation gets better and, prayers and love to you.
Yeah. Heidi, you're an angel for caring for your family
You are.
that way. And this is the problem with the politicians, in particular Gavin Newsom.
Definitely.
They make these arbitrary rules that affect our lives, and they don't even walk in our shoes. They have no idea what you're going through, and I'm sorry.
So Angela and Carrie, can you
Maria.
hear me?
Maria, you're on Friday night at the French Laundry. What's happening?
Yes. Hello?
Yeah, do you want to move out of California or are you going to stay?
Well, I wanted to say that regardless of the election, because I don't agree with recalling them.
Okay.
That's what the election process is for. But I would like to move because I think California, like LA County, for example, very congested. And I think that's part of the reason why COVID-19, I don't believe it's spreading because it really hasn't been proven. The birds, cats, sea life don't have it. The children not getting it. I don't agree with putting them back in school because you don't want an outbreak to happen there. They might get from a parent and then to the child and transfer it around like that. But I don't believe it's contagious because I saw the movie Outbreak, and that's a true outbreak. It started with the animals. It started with the food chain and then transferred to humans.
Okay. So but you're gonna stay in California then. Then you want to move out of Los Angeles, but you're gonna stay in California.
I want to go to San Diego, San Isidro, or Mexico, and then my second choice is Arizona or Las Vegas, Nevada, because all this land is stolen and it belongs to the Indians and not the people living on it right now selling it.
Okay.
And back
Okay.
then-
Well, thank you so much, Maria. Thank
Thank
for the
you,
call.
Maria.
Thank you. All right.
That,
we'll take one more.
wandered a
Sandy,
little off
Sandy,
topic.
you're on Friday night at the French Laundry.
Hey, here I am
Here you
again.
go, yes.
Hey,
I'm
Sandy.
evacuated.
Oh,
Oh,
gosh.
I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
no.
The fire, but the good news is Chester, my hometown of 59 years, has been so far safe. But a lot of devastation of friends and stuff. And the place I'm at in my America, and in my California,
Yeah.
Northern California, we're wonderful. We stick together. And if you saw the people that I'm dealing with right now, I mean, we're all evacuated, and we have this beautiful ranch that we're on, beautiful people. And I was just saying that I think we all should pray for Governor Newsom, that just like the Grinch that stole Christmas got a heart.
Aw.
Maybe, seriously, maybe he just needs to see how real America is and how real America is strong and how real America, California, can't burn us down, even though this fire is so devastating to us. I will not let this fire take me away from my California.
You know, this
Oh,
is
Sandy.
you know, I love that you feel that way, and I love that you love California that much, and that's how I felt my whole life until this last year. And I wish I didn't. But you know, Gavin Newsom, Newsom,
We
sorry.
call him Newsolini at my
Oh
pub.
my gosh! And I don't like to call people names. I don't,
Yeah.
but sometimes it slips out. He cut $150 million from the state's fire protection budget and misled all of us about his fire protection record. Now, get this. This is what's so crazy. He exaggerated it by over 690%. 600 about how we were protected, like the numbers of acres that he protected.
Wow.
But instead, he left 78,000 acres vulnerable to devastating fires, knowing that they could spark up. He left it, saying, but we are protected. We're all good, right? No. Something that came out of his mouth that wasn't true. I mean, where's the fact checkers on Gavin Newsom, right? Where's
Right.
the fact checkers there?
He's paying them.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Sandy? I hope you stay safe from the fire. Thank you so much for
Oh,
calling. I
Sandy.
really appreciate it.
Oh, and Carrie, can you hear me? This
We'll
is
take one more
Tim.
call and then we can go to break. So Charlene and Hawthorne, you're on Friday night at the French Laundry.
Hi, thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah, three things. One, I'm a vegan, and vegans are federally protected in a human rights legislation. That's why federal prisoners who demand vegan diets get them.
Okay.
So if you say you're vegan, it's not you don't want the vaccine because you don't eat dead animals or wear leather or shoes. It's because you don't approve of the animal testing.
I mean,
Wow,
I'm vegan, but
interesting.
I've never heard that before.
I've
and
never heard that either.
I've never heard
Google
that.
that.
Yeah.
That's an exemption for the vaccine. Two, I've lived here for 20 years, and I'm going back to Ohio in October as soon as the election's over, whoever wins.
Wow.
Because number one, I heard this woman on CNN the other night who was talking about how people who are unvaccinated should be on a no-fly list. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
unreal.
just another step. And then the other one, they're saying interstate travel. That if going state to state, you should be stopped if you're not vaccinated.
But
well, what am I going to do when I'm on a U-Haul, going on the 40 East to Ohio, and they stop me and say, "Oh, sorry." I mean, I just want to get out of here.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
Yeah.
It's scary, but you know what's interesting is, Michael Rappaport, the actor, made a video. Maybe we should play that.
Oh,
In fact,
it's good.
I think I don't know if he swears, but I'll take a look. He does. Oh,
I must have watched it 10 times.
Oh,
that.
so
Not as
it
much
was
as
amazing.
usual.
Oh, so good. It's so good, but
Amazing.
he's so angry because he was calling everybody dumb, dummies, stupid. It's an unvaccinated pandemic. He was going off on people, right? And then he hears Tony Fauci on CNN and Fox. He says, and Fox said this too, that he said that the vaccinated are now super spreaders, and I'm not a super spreader. You're calling me a super spreader? You're calling me a super spreader? I'm like, he went off. He was so angry. So look him up on Instagram. Look up Michael Rappaport. You will see how angry he was, because knowing now double vaccinated people can still get the virus and give the virus.
Yeah, they can still get it and they can still give it. And it's interesting. I had a promoter who only will let you in for with vaccine passports.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And he called me saying, can we do a concert outside because I'm getting COVID outbreaks inside.
That's crazy. We got to take a quick break. We will be back.
Carrie,
This
are
is
you able
Friday
to hear
night
me
at the
real
French
quick?
Laundry. I'm filling in for Orrin Heatley and Mike Netter. I'm Carrie Kasem. We'll be right back.
Carrie, can you hear us?
The place next door. We got a lot of people there.
They put us on hold, Kim.
Yeah, they did. Well, anyways, we'll get that figured out in a minute here. And so one of the reasons I got on board with the recall is due to AB5, and the first gentleman that called in talked about that briefly. I had friends moving out, and just about 3 or 4 weeks ago, some of my friends from my hometown that I grew up in, which Alma is currently in right now, they moved out. They went over to Tennessee. And these are some friends I went to grade school with, and they had enough.
Well, I'll tell you what, something that people aren't really paying attention to is, and they had brought this up, I would have loved to have chimed in earlier, but they brought up the pending evictions that are going to happen here when the moratorium is lifted on evictions and foreclosures, right?
Right.
Well, the governor has signed legislation that basically gives the government the first opportunity to buy foreclosed houses. So people like you and me, we can't go out and just take up a foreclosed house. I bought a foreclosed house, but now I wouldn't have had that opportunity because the government's going to step in, and they're the ones that are going to be able to buy those homes and turn them into HUD homes. First, they have first dibs on any foreclosure, and that to me is it's a criminal land grab.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I'm going to let you and I'm going to talk. I'm going to try and call into the radio station real quick and see if we can get this straightened out.
Okay, appreciate that, Orrin. Thanks. So yeah, so the people are leaving, and when people leave, there goes that tax revenue that they had coming here to the state. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that, and another oversight by Gavin Newsom, because their employers or employees, and they're paying taxes.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring back what the lady, the caller, that the comment that she made, that she wants to pray for him. I think Gavin Newsom is beyond prayer.
Yeah.
This guy, he doesn't have a soul. He is just for himself in his political career. He can care less about the people of California.
Right.
You can see it, like I said last time. Go through the freeways and see. He does not care for the people of California. He is just a corrupt politician, and that's all he cares. He's here to serve his handlers, period.
Okay, we're back.
It's Friday night at the French Laundry. On the menu tonight, a better California with executive chef Orrin Heatley and maitre d' Mike Netter.
Just like the man said, we are at the French Laundry, kinda. It's Friday night. That's real. Angela Marsden is here with us, Evan Wexel. Later on, we're going to hear from our resident Democrat, Christopher George. We got Daryl, too. Daryl, who made his debut 2 weeks ago. He'll be on as well.
I'm here if you can still hear me. I don't
Are
know.
you losing if Newsom happens to stay in?
Yeah. They
And,
muted
we
us
got
again, Tim.
quite a lot of calls. We'll take your calls in a little bit again. But Angela, I want people to know, your story and what I was telling my boyfriend a little while ago, like what happened. And I was trying to find the video that went just absolutely crazy. Viral.
Yeah.
And I've been going to the Pineapple Saloon like for 20 something years. I used to work for my dad over at Clear Channel, AM/FM actually. And the boys would have this thing called Drunk Tuesdays. I don't know if you remember that. I don't know. It was like a whole, like all the guys would go for Drunk Tuesdays.
That's awesome.
Yeah, at Pineapple Hill, and it's been really a staple of Sherman Oaks for such a long time.
Pineapple Hill. I inherited just the treasure chest of memories of the neighborhood. So I'm the third owner.
Okay.
And it is opened in 1978. And it has a lot of history behind it. Like Frank Sinatra came in, the guy that played Grizzly Adams came in, Drew Barrymore's grandfather, I was told, came in. Lots of people would come in after their shows, winning their Emmys and partying and martini lunches. So a lot of memories for everybody. I mean, we get so many people that come in, father with their son turning 21, bachelor parties, people meet there, they propose there. So I was very blessed to be able to have a place like that. I'm from Indiana. That's the kind of place I love. And actually the cooks have been there since the day it opened.
Really?
The entire
Since the
family.
70s?
Mm-hmm. Entire family. It's two brothers, a wife, and now both of their sons are working with me. So it's, to me, the heart of Sherman Oaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that day, I mean, that was, I literally had taken out a disaster loan for that year. I'll try to make this as quick as I can because the year was probably one of the darkest years of my life, and every business's life. So, I mean, I can't compare to what other people went through. A third of our businesses in California closed, never to reopen. I had taken out a disaster loan and was living off of that. And finally got the patio together and saw my first month of revenue in October. I was actually hiring people. And 2 days before Thanksgiving, they shut us down. Outdoor dining.
Yeah.
And said, outdoor dining was unsafe and dangerous for people, right? Which totally is not the science on outdoor dining. There's no science behind that. They didn't even have any science behind outdoor dining. Actually, Mark Garagos, my attorney, beat the LA County the public health officers in court. They said it was arbitrary, gross reach of power, and all of that. But then they appealed that, and then they ruled in favor of Barbara Ferreira and said that in a health emergency, she can basically do whatever she wants.
But
and so can Gavin Newsom.
But tell them what happened right after this.
Yeah.
Right after this. This is unbelievable. She shuts everything down. She's this beautiful outside area. It's tented. It's really beautiful.
It's very emotional. Like when I go back there, it's hard for me to even think about that because I just am right there again. And so for me, they shut us down 2 days before Thanksgiving. I had spent all this money on food. I was in the last leg of the loan money and was being very hopeful because we'd seen a profit in October. And I literally had to tell my staff, I have a single parent that works for me. I had to say, look, guys, we have to close right before the holidays with 2 days notice. And basically I wasn't going to be able to reopen. I was done. So my staff didn't know that because I was trying to be hopeful for them. And I'm a fighter like you. I don't quit. I don't give up. And my bookkeeper said, we just can't do it. The money's not there. We can't even stay open for to-go, which I had been staying open for to-go, losing money for my staff and for the neighborhood and for just keeping in contact. I did food to the hospitals, things like that.
Right.
And so I told my staff to meet me there. We have a bi-weekly payroll. I said, meet me when paychecks come the following Friday. and I was giving them last paychecks and bags of groceries. And I drive into my parking lot, and literally there's a 200-person tent identical to mine in the same parking lot, probably not much further than you are from me here, with a catering truck for a television show. And I didn't know it was a television show at the time. I walked in, drove through kind of in shock. I had never protested in my life. The week before, I went to my first protest in front of Barbara Ferrera's house, of which you march up from Echo Park, like where there's a homeless encampment where nobody's wearing masks or doing anything. And you literally walk up to her house where we were being called losers by her neighbors. That was the week before I met them, and gave them their paychecks and bags of groceries because of the food. And one of my employees said, you know, Ange, it's going to be okay. And I just broke. And I said, no, it's not okay. This is not okay. And if I'm going to go down, people are going to know why. And I want them to know the truth. And my girlfriend was there because I don't know how to video. And I'm not super good at social media either.
Yeah.
I just wanted people to know the truth because, you know, in our business, all the small businesses were afraid to say anything. So over the year, I'm watching people just die off, and nobody's speaking up and saying what we're being put through. You know, changes constantly, riots, boarding up our windows, telling us we're going to be closed, telling us we're going to be open, not giving us any money, not giving us any compensation, or telling us when it's going to come. And
Well, that's the $30 billion that fraudulently went to all the prisoners, where everybody else was. And they're still waiting for money. People are still waiting. $30 billion to prisoners.
How does that happen? I mean, in a restaurant, if I run my restaurant that way, my business goes out of business. Or if I am a manager for somebody, I get fired.
No, but
where's the accountability?
I know.
You know?
So you went, I saw this. You took your phone and you went and you just started filming everything.
Yeah.
You
I told my girl, I asked my girlfriend, Liz, she's actually a school psychologist. And I said, Liz, follow me because I have to tell people why I'm not going to be here.
Yeah.
And I just walked out and I just said, you know, I just wanted to point out, you know, so this is dangerous and this isn't. 15 feet away, you can't eat under my tent because it's dangerous, but you can eat right there. I mean, and I just called out Gavin Newsom and Mayor Garcetti, by the way.
Yeah.
Of which neither one of them have contacted me ever.
Of course not.
Ever.
You're not a big donor.
No.
No, you're not a big donor. You just feed, you know, the people, and you keep your.
But, you know, back to Sandy, what Sandy's going through, you know, I wish we'd gotten a link or some way to get a hold of Sandy with the fires. The American people, Carrie, they saved my business. Literally, the donations from all over the world saved my business.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here today, which is why I am so compelled to stay in California and so compelled to get him out. And I'm trying to fight for the small businesses as much as I can because I was given that golden ticket of being able to be here, you know?
Because it was amazing. It was a huge outpouring of support. Huge.
It reverberates.
So
I was interviewing someone in Vietnam. They know of your video, like all the way over there. So it reaches across borders, what you were able to communicate.
I think, I was just talking earlier, you know, small businesses, restaurants, retail, spas, we deal with people one-on-one, and that's all over the world. And so we're boots on the ground, and we are hit the hardest with this pandemic. So, and no understanding, and we're not together to fight for us. So we're not like a big corporation where we can lobby people and, you know,
Sure.
Yeah.
But you know what? You come together, and you know, I have this love-hate relationship with social media. Look how much it helped you.
I know.
Look how much it's destroying. You know,
It's
as well.
destroying the
It is.
connection.
We got to take a quick break. When we come back, Evan Wexell is going to debut his new song. Yeah, Recall. I'm Carrie Kasem. It's Friday night at the French Laundry.
It's important to follow all the law. How any violation might kill a grandma.
Another wonderful segment. So Alma, do you have anything this evening?
Actually, yes, I was gonna bring a good point. It's something that I noticed. When Angela gave her video, I was in tears. I was in tears. I felt her pain because it hit home. I see John here from Pains going through the same thing, being persecuted by our own mayor. That was disgusting. And it really hit home. Another thing that I noticed after, how Gavin Newsom, the Democrats, they cater to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that all the productions that came after or during the pandemic, productions that were filmed during the pandemic, even before the vaccine,
yeah,
none of those actors were wearing a mask. None of those actors were keeping social distance, you know, because they cannot portray emotion without, you know, with the mask on.
Right.
All those productions were no masks, no social distancing, actors kissing each other, hugging each other, big groups of people together.
Yeah, but this is something that I don't understand, Alma, and Oren can contest to this, that, you know, in nearby areas in Burbank, the homeless community is awful. And there's no public services for them. There's no portable showers. There's no porta potties. There's no potable water where they can wash their hands. They're out on their own. And Oren shared that with us a couple of months back, actually.
Yeah, and you see they're fine. They do not. Gavin has not bring any solutions to the existing problems for California, the state of California, and he created more problems with his nonsense, non-science mandates. I mean, there is no science.
We're back on, Alma.
Oh yeah, we are back. Angela Marsden just told the story about what happened to her and the Pineapple Hill Saloon in Sherman Oaks, where I live. It's just an incredible story. I mean, it's a,
you know, we're not going to let you go under, and keep fighting and stay open, and just the hearts of people, if the government would just get away, are so amazing.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree. Absolutely agree. We're going to change the tune a little bit because we've got a comedian in the room, Evan Wetzel. And after the break, we are going to be talking to, hopefully, Orrin Heatley. I know I see him right here. He's on. And if you want to go to Facebook, you know, Recall Gavin 2020. If I'm doing that right, go to Facebook. You can watch. We're all on video here. But Evan Wetzel, a guy I've known you for over 10 years.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. And your wife.
Yeah, it took a while, but I'm finally getting you to play one of my songs.
Finally. So what was the impetus? What was the, you know, when, okay, I have to do the song.
It was been stirring since, like, I ran for state senate in 2020. I ran for, again, I was going to run against Portantino. I fell short by, like, I was a write-in by like 150 votes. So it was like very close. But I had all these things about Newsom, California, stirring me to push me to do that. And like, how do I get this in a song and not be like a depressing song?
Yeah.
So, you know, you just want to make people happier as a comedian. And I see that on the faces of people as I start to see them in live acts. And I saw a lot of muted people when I did virtual comedy. So to be able to put that in front of people and have that song, this is just, what you guys have been talking about is in the song.
Well, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Yeah. Do we have it? All right. Let's play it.
Good-looking kid, grew up in San Francisco. Hard-working mom and well-connected dad. Asked him, boy, what you want to do with your life? He said, I want to be the worst governor we've ever had. Homeless capital of the country. Billions of dollars poorly spent. Walking city streets full of encampments. To him, that's just affordable rent. Special interest line his pocket. Acts like a giant. Jeff Bezos rockets. The end of gas cars is what he recommends. Now off to the French Laundry with his lobbyist friends. First leader to enact a small business ban. Get back to smile and recall that man. Recall that man.
We'll keep going one more verse.
He doesn't need your science. He won't listen to your plight. His hair gel is so strong it would beat him in a fight. Here you can score lots of needles, but farm life is dire. It's getting hot out here, oh, just another wildfire. Shoplift from Target, they can't arrest us. Even illegal immigrants would rather sneak into Texas. We'll meet the moment with this deer-colored plan, and right now we're on green to recall that man.
Oh, yeah. So if you want to hear the whole thing, where can people find it?
It's on Spotify right now.
Okay.
There's a music video in the works where I'm kind of taking slideshows and volunteer photos and putting a collage together. I'm going to get it out. But yeah, Spotify, iTunes soon.
And
it's on
so
YouTube.
Recall That Man?
Recall That Man.
Recall That Man on Spotify.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Warren gave me the thumbs up. I got some thumbs up.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
So yeah. And if there's ever events, man, I'll go out there and I'll play it to lighten things up.
I think you need to play at the Pineapple Hill.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
It's the new Living La Vida Loca. Yeah.
You know what I wish? We just need to raise a ton of money and start putting commercials out there.
Yeah, we
really,
do.
because there's so many people. I was doing some man on the street stuff for the recall this last week, and I cannot tell you how many people don't. First of all, they don't know about the recall. They don't know when it is. They don't know what's happening with it. They've heard of it, and a lot of people think the recall. And this is what I got the most is, oh, because he's making us wear masks. I said, absolutely no. I said, no, that's not why.
Carrie, Angela,
That's
can
not
you
why.
guys
I mean, some people
can you
might
guys
know
hear me
that,
now?
but it's really not why that's happening. And they said, oh, okay, well, I think he's kept us safe. I said, great. So that's fine. Now, let me tell you about some other things. And I started to talk
Tim?
about his policies and some of the things he's done. And
Just a moment,
I went,
Lauren.
I got
We're,
this.
we're
Oh,
muted, so there's no
That's
way to
not okay.
communicate with those guys.
I know. We're still
There's a
live on
list.
Facebook, Lauren, so let's
I mean,
wait till
I'm
commercial to talk.
And here is this list.
That's how I wrote the song. I was just looking at the list.
Here's
I'm like,
another
okay.
I literally have lists and lists and lists of what this man has done to California. And when I started reading some of them, and there's a list of 80 here and there's a list of 13 here, and they couldn't believe it. It was, there was one person, just this girl was set to vote, yes, making sure that Gavin was coming back so she could stay safe, right? Oh, and then I went through some of the lists, and she goes, I didn't know about that. Now that's not good. I didn't know about that. And that's not good either. Well, thank you. Was kind of upset, but thank you for letting me know. And she goes, well, who are you voting for? It's like a whole bunch of people. Take a look at yourself. I don't want to influence anything. Look, just take a look. Whoever you like, but we're not out here to tell you who to vote for.
We're not.
Yeah, just want to tell you this is what this guy has done. That's the truth, and there's people that do not know. There's certain laws that he signed in. He didn't make the law, but he signed in, a law that allows people 10 years older than a child to have sex with them.
Oh yeah.
14 years old and up. You can now, if the child says it's consensual, do that. Or there's horrible things I don't even want to say on air that there's less penalty for. It's called pedophilia. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Look it up yourself. People didn't know he got these major reductions of what kind of sentence you can get if you're pedophile. And
that's with him releasing all the prisoners,
Yeah, it's just terrible. I tell that to mom.
I was shocked when I learned 20,000 of the prisoners are lifers without parole.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder, what does safe mean? Because everyone throws that word around, safe. I want to feel safe, more safety. I want everyone to be safe.
80,000 prisoners being released is not safe. It's not safe.
That's not safe at all. And like Orrin he's so good at pointing this stuff out, is that they're not even being released into a program. They're not being released into a home. They're not being released into a job. They're just being released.
Yeah.
We don't already have a problem with crime. We don't already have a problem with homeless. I mean, I on my WhatsApp or the Nextdoor app, I had somebody in Sherman Oaks basically warn us that there was someone breaking into houses.
Yeah.
This person
Yeah.
had broken into 3 houses, and the last one, he was completely naked in a little girl's room. He had been arrested and let go 72 times. 72 times. So they were putting it on Nextdoor apps, say, be safe, watch yourself. I mean, that's one of many. I had a woman come into my pub in Encino. She lives by herself in a penthouse. And this gentleman had figured out how to get up the fire escape, apparently, how to get down into her penthouse. She's sleeping, and at 3 o'clock in the morning, she wakes up to a naked man standing over her bed.
That is
Over
so
her bed.
scary.
And she looks at him, and she says, what are you doing here? She's like, I don't know why, but I just was
Talk
very
to him.
calm. And he said, I was just checking your electric. And she said, well, it's fine. And he goes, okay, well, then maybe I should go. And she's like, well, I'll see you out. She walks the man out, shuts the door, calls the police. The police come out. He'd already been there for a while. He had went through her underwear drawer, through her second bedroom. She awoke to him standing naked over him. And she came into my pub to tell me this because she said, they found out who he is and he's on Facebook. He's been arrested several times. They arrested him and released him. And she didn't want to go on the news because he's released to just show up for the date. And until he actually shows up for the date and she knows he's going to go away, she didn't want to interview with news. Because I said, hey, I can get you on the news. You can tell people what's going on.
But I mean, he's just going to keep doing it. You know, we have 2 cars parked outside my house, and we have more than that. But you know, my boyfriend and I, when we stay there or stay at his house, and our cars kept getting broken into. No windows are smashed. Nothing was happening, and you know, nothing like it looked like there was a break-in. We can't be leaving our doors open this much. Like, there's no way. We lock our doors, right? We found out about the scheme where they come around with a little device that if you don't have your keys in a little box, that there's a device that can get to the electric opener, and it mimics it, and it will open your car. So you have to now get this. I don't know. You can get it from the internet, and you put your keys in it, and it will keep you safe.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. So that stopped. Our doors kept getting opened. Yeah, I didn't leave anything in there, but
yeah,
we just now put them in this black box that doesn't permit any kind of like electricity to go through it, and they can't open the doors.
Wow.
Yeah. But I've never had to do that before.
115,000 prisoners in state prison. 115,000. And close to 95,000 will be released under Gavin Newsom's watch.
Well, we're going to take more of your calls this next hour. We're going to talk to Orrin Heatley. I don't know if Mike Netter's going to call in, but I'm filling in for both of them. I'm Carrie Kasem here with Angela Marthin. Oh, thank you. Evan Wexell. This is Friday night at the French Laundry right here on 790 KBC.
Said we can't be super. This show is sponsored by the official Recall Committee, California Patriot Coalition. Recall Governor Newsom 2020, number 1424018. Committee major funding from others include Rescue California, Recall Gavin Newsom, Prov 39 LLC, BGB Ranch.
And to fill in for Mike Netter, stay tuned. It's Friday night at the French Laundry. I was waiting to do that. For those that are watching live on Facebook, please donate to recallgavin2020.com to keep the show alive. And for those watching later on YouTube, please do the same. We really need to keep this going, keep the movement going. And every bit of it goes toward the recall of Gavin Newsom. Gosh, yeah, what Angela was saying earlier, goodness, yeah, there's some terrible things going on down in that area. And I'm sure it's going on all over California.
All over. It's all over, team. Here in Hollister, we have some homeless, not a lot like we've seen through Gilroy and San Jose.
Yeah.
But now, just the other day, there was a lady that was attacked by one homeless. The same day, I was in downtown Hollister with my kids, and there was this guy, and he was just saying nonsense stuff. He was screaming, and he starts running towards our car. My son was in the car by himself. He locked his door. He locked himself into the car, but he says, "Mom, that guy is really, really crazy."
Well, even Gavin Newsom, a water bottle was thrown at Gavin Newsom by a homeless person. And not to mention, Barbara Boxer was attacked recently too. Yeah, so some of the public officials are being attacked by the people that they should be serving. Unfortunately, they're not serving. And what Gavin's doing right now is he's trying to buy the vote with a stimulus check. He's coming in saying, "Look at me, look what I'm doing." He's posing for pictures, picking up trash when the homeless issue has been going on for a while and it's just getting worse. And then he turns around and he invites the nation's homeless to California when we can't even handle our own. Wow. Wow. Wake up, Gavin. What?
No, it's not wake up, Gavin. Wake up, people. Let's get this guy out.
Yeah.
Here in town, I mean, you know the town, Tim. You're from here.
Yes.
A lot of the girls, the school is about to start, and a lot of kids walk home.
Yeah.
And I mean, we have all these people in the streets.
Yeah.
I mean, and like I said, this is a small city.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine how it is in San Jose, where there's more and more and more. I mean, everywhere you go is so depressing. And there's, like I said, no solutions. There's no solution. He just goes with his fake smile. Look at my hair. Look how wonderful I look.
Yeah. I've been around Santa Clara County, Fresno County, all the way down to Kern County, just up and down the highways. There's, homeless, there's tarps and tents and such. Monterey County, same thing. So yeah, I've been around, in Sacramento, San Francisco, those counties, and it's terrible.
And you go to, we were talking about earlier, people live in the state. You go to Texas, you don't see that.
Right.
You do not see that in a red state. You don't see that. I mean, yeah, there is some homeless, but not what we have here in the state of California. It's no way near what we have here.
Correct. Oh, we got traffic, and then I think we're back on after. I have it in the background just ever so lightly, and I'm like going like this when you're talking. It's like, I can't hear. But you're doing just fine. Yeah, so folks, we're having a little bit of technical difficulty with communicating through my studio and the radio station. So we'll try to get that fixed for the future and see what we can do to make everything to where everyone's merged beautifully, as I'm attempting to do. So always a little glitch here and there, but we'll make it happen. And we're going to keep moving forward to recall Gavin. We're back on.
Patriot Coalition, recall Governor Newsom 2020, number 1424018. Committee major funding from others include Rescue California, recall Gavin Newsom, Prop 39 LLC, BGB Ranch. This is your 5-star spot for a smorgasbord of information from recallgavin2020.com. In a tasty, non-caloric, gluten-free bite. It's Friday night at the French Laundry with Executive Chef Oren Heatley and Maitre d' Mike Netter.
Friday night at the French Laundry. I'm Carrie Kasem. I've been filling in for Oren Heatley and Mike Netter, who actually are now on the phone. Hey, guys.
Well, you got one of the guys because we're both in the same cab. But let me tell you something. How are you guys taking care of our virtual restaurant? I understand you have Angela and Evan with you, right?
Yes, I do. They're both here.
Hello.
Okay, guys, I got to get off a quick rant while we're running down the road here. But let me tell you, for Oren and myself, and I'm accompanied by Dan tonight, we're all shooting down the road now up in Madera, California. It has been an absolutely incredible, amazing week. And if I could have a little bit of my restaurant back for a couple of minutes, I'd like to tell you guys why.
It's yours.
Okay. When Oren, Dan, and I walked in, everybody who didn't know this week, we got invited as part of a small crowd of 100 people to see the gubernatorial debate live.
I watched it.
Really, yep. And I got to tell you, when we walked into the Richard Nixon Library, it really struck Oren Orrin and I looked at each other, Dan's with us, and it really struck us what the people have done. To see the signs up there that say gubernatorial debate and the big words recall scrawled above it, I can't tell you the emotion that we felt for the people of California.
Oh, I bet.
And to be there live and watch it broadcast to literally about 5 million people with 4 of the summer candidates speaking really brought pride to my heart that we can do a lot to take California back. I mean, it really, for me, was a very humbling and amazing experience. Or he's kind of used to this kind of stuff.
Well, without you guys and without this campaign, that would have never happened. So you should take, I mean, I'd be so proud of myself. So you should be so proud of yourself. I mean, this is because of you guys.
It's because we led the charge, and it's been a humbling and amazing experience. But let me tell you some other things we did this week. All right. For everybody out there that knows, there's a ballot statement that goes out. And we went to court with the help of Eric Early if you've seen the Elizabeth Warren ad, which for all of you know, I ranted and raved against last week, saying this is Republican, Ivy Gargar, and you guys are a bunch of idiots. And most importantly to me was that they said we abused the recall process. Well, we went to court, as everybody knows, on Monday. On Tuesday, they turned down. On Wednesday, we went to hearing. Thursday, they turned us down again. And the liberal court turned us down again today. But let me tell you something. They're telling lies, and they admitted that this is an opinion that Gavin gets to put hyperbole in his statement. And a lie that's told over and over again will not become the truth. What's more important is people that are already getting their ballots out there. And the ballots are already being mailed out in certain counties, like the county I'm up in right now, actually don't even have the argument with it. But you know what they do have? They have, say, do you want to retain Gavin as governor? And if you want Gavin out, you vote yes. It doesn't contain the D beside his name because we got that Democrat.
That's right. That's right.
Let everybody out there, let me tell you something. I know everybody's like, well, you didn't win this court case this week, and that may be true, but we fought. And it doesn't matter if we won the court case or not, well, we got the court to put out. And I really encourage everybody to look at this as a matter of record, that Gavin is full of, shall we say, a certain villain. I'll let that do you on the air. It's hyperbole. The reality is this. That is all Gavin Newsom has. He put nothing, absolutely nothing, in his argument that says why he should remain governor of California. And that's what you're hearing out there. You're hearing, vote no because of this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Vote yes, because the reality is Gavin Newsom is not standing on his record. If you heard all 4 of those candidates that were on the debate stage, they talked about what we wanted this recall to be about, which is about a better California. Gavin's hyperbole and lies and stuff that he's put on there is just about how basically his feelings are hurt. That Republicans or somebody is actually calling him out for doing a bad job. And of course, I feel bad for Gavin. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
The reality is this. Everybody out there, and if you've been watching the polls, which also came out this week, I'm going to eat up this entire segment because that's what I'm going to do.
It's your show.
Because the entire polls, all the polls coming out this week show the same thing. We've caught up. But the most amazing thing this week is to see it's about 48 to 49 with 3 points of error, if you will, or a dead heat for Californians to remove this governor by voting yes. Even, I'm going to say even the Hispanic community. The Hispanic community is pretty smart. 52% of them are planning on voting Gavin out. Gavin is desperate. He's scratching. They're running different things, but nothing is going to save him because the people of California are seeing through what he hasn't done.
Yeah.
I am incredibly proud this week to stand with Angela, Carrie, Evan, but more importantly, everybody out there, incredibly proud to be standing with everyone in the recall for us to stand up as Californians, to be able to stand shoulder to shoulder, toe to toe with a man who is devastated. And Angela, you got almost mentioned on the stage tonight when we watched Mr. Kiley speak. Toe to toe for a governor, which is basically not only shut us down, he's ignored our kids, he's ignored the crime in the streets, he's ignored the homeless in the streets, he's ignored the fires that burn in the hills. But what he hasn't ignored is his own political career. And everybody out there, if you're hearing this moment, I want you to hear this loud and I want you to hear this clear. It is up to you, people of California, to go out there and do whatever you can to make sure you collect those yes votes and vote for the candidate of your choice. Because if you don't think that Gavin Newsom is going to continue to fight for his political career and the special interests, and if you don't think that the people of California have a chance, you have to give them a chance. You have to go out there and do whatever you can to get people to vote and vote yes. Remember, it's 50% plus one person. One person, that could be any of you out there, could be someone that you tell. And if you look at the argument that Gavin puts on there, you realize that I'm going to say it. Even the court said, oh, he's got the right to lie because it's his opinion,
Wow.
which, by the way, isn't even his opinion as governor. It's his opinion as Citizen Gavin.
Wow.
And Citizen Gavin, who is sitting right now in the governor's mansion, is not looking out for everybody out there for your interests. Not Angela's interest, not Carrie's interest, not Evan's interest, not anybody's interest at all. And as the fires rage throughout the state, as our water dries up because he takes no action, as our hills burn because he's done nothing with the utility companies except telling them to shut off power, as the homeless people line the streets and nothing is done about them. It's time, California. It's time that you did something about it. And we, the people, led by Orrin, Dan, and I, Robin, Susan, all of us on the committee, have broken up the door to give you a once-in-a-lifetime chance, a once-in-an-era chance to do something which has rarely been done in political history, and that's taking direct democracy to where it needs to be. And if you could have felt, anybody out there, what Orrin and I and Dan felt walking into that Nixon library and seeing what we, the people of California, have accomplished this last 8 months, let me tell you something. You know you're part of something historic. And I said this at a dinner last night. Again, I know we're rolling to the end of the segment, then I'll jump off and turn the restaurant back over to you. Everybody out there, Paul Revere, the Boston Tea Party, anything that took place in history, people may have not been cognizant in the moment what a role they had in American history. Somebody wrote about it later. For everybody out there listening right now that votes, for everybody out there who helped gather signatures, who is continuing to do something, understand you have a role in a movement which is going down in American history with everything that you do. Bless you all. Are we about ready for me to do my usual thing, Carrie?
Yeah.
Or is everybody sitting down?
We are sitting down.
All right. I'm going to say it. It's Friday nights at the French Lawn. ABC Recall Gavin2020.com. Donate, vote yes, and do something to save your state.
I don't know how I let this happen. Wait, where? The place next door, you know? Wait, I thought you ordered all the restaurants to close, man. I don't know what to do. Just say it wasn't you.
Yep, Mike definitely does that better than me. Well, he's been doing a little bit longer and also live in studio, but you know, it's still fun. It's still fun hearing Mike do that. Yeah, so homeless up and down the state, the lack of fire management, AB 5, what was that, AB 145, which we like to call it the pedo bill. Yeah, that's just a disgusting bill. I don't even know how that got to his chair to begin with, but well, I've looked at the history, so I do know, but it's not right that that has happened. Wow, what else, Alma?
Well, you know, the thing is that the majority of the people ignore this.
Yeah.
We have a media that is complicit. We have a media that the real news, nobody talks about this. They don't let us share it in social media. And how do the people know? How do the people know the bills and the things that this governor is doing?
There is
for families.
There is one reporter on one of the ABC channels, and he is looking into the connection with Gavin Newsom and PG&E. So there is one out there. Thank goodness for that one, and they're doing good, fair, honest reporting.
Mm-hmm. And you know, it only takes one brave one for other people, because there's a lot of people that are intimidated, and I get it. People is afraid to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
They're afraid to lose their job.
Yeah.
They don't want to come out and say anything. Doctors, they're afraid to lose their licenses. I mean, teachers, they're afraid to lose their jobs and not be able to teach and provide for their families.
Yeah.
It's just a whole, I don't even know how to put it in words, you know?
Right. Well, we're going back on.
French Laundry with Executive Chef Oren Heatley and Maitre d' Mike Netter.
Friday night at the French Laundry. I'm Carrie Case. I'm filling in for Mike Netter, who you just heard, and Oren Heatley. They were in a cab together. Mike is so well spoken. This guy, I mean, just picked up radio not that long ago, and I'm blown away by his ability. Mike, you rock. Oren, you rock. I love this, and you guys should be so proud at this movement and what you've created. It's amazing. And I know, Angela, you want to say something. Tim has been on hold for half the show, so I'm going to get Tim. Tim, thank you so much for hanging on. What do you have to say?
Well, thank you guys for having me. And I know the question you're posing tonight is, do you plan on moving away from California if Gavin stays?
That's right.
And unfortunately, if he does, I'm probably going to have to at the end of the year when my employment contract's up, because it's just what's happened the last couple of years has just been unfathomable.
Yeah.
You know, I moved here in 2012. I was in my 20s at the time. I moved here on a whim, didn't have anything lined up because California looked like the American dream. And it was for a long time. You know, I got a great job, made a lot of good friends, and it was a great place to be for about, 5-6 years. But then Gavin Newsom came into office, and then slowly but surely, with all of his need to just act without thinking and, not having wait and see in his vocabulary, homelessness and crime went up, the gas tax got misallocated, housing became more unaffordable, the difference between the haves and the have-nots got way worse. And now after COVID, our freedoms have basically been eradicated with him treating our Constitution as toilet paper.
Yeah.
And all because Gavin Newsom only cares about Gavin Newsom. He probably doesn't even care about the people who are buttering his bread. They just care that he's buttering his bread. And, if he isn't recalled here in September, you got to think more people vote in a midterm election. He probably wins again in 2022.
Oh, please don't say that.
Yeah. Okay.
It gives him 5 years to basically run California by fiat like he's been doing since COVID started. And with how things have gone the last couple of years, I can't imagine what that would be like.
Yeah.
So, even today, I'm only 36. I'm not married. I have no kids. And life is too short to spend your prime under such a dictatorial dystopia. So I guess I'd have to go.
Well, hang in there.
there.
Hang in there, but very well said, Tim.
Get people out to vote.
Yes, just start. I mean,
Gosh,
please.
you're amazing.
That's the most important thing, is that we get people to just check that yes box. Do you want to recall Governor Gavin Newsom? Yes, that is why we are all here. We're not here to tell you who to vote for or anything else. We just need enough yeses, and the guy is gone. But the only way to do that is to continue talking to people, and just give them the facts. There's the facts. If you go to www.recallgavin2020.org, there are about, I don't know how many, 80 different things that you can tell people, and most people have no idea.
Yeah, recallgavin2020.com/reasons.
Or .com.
If you do /reasons, it'll get you the
there.
list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. But thank you, Tim, so much. And I hope we stay. I hope we stay. Thank you. So, Angela, you're listening to Mike, and it inspired you.
Oh, I am. first of all, as a small business owner, we are all in debt to Orrin and to Mike and to every person out there that was on the recall before, I ever joined in, before any of us even stepped up. I mean, we had to have it at our front door in our face before we joined the fight. And I am so touched and amazed by all the people throughout California that are fighting for their state. And I've had somebody say to me, I don't know, Ange, I don't think he's going to get voted out. I don't think it's going to work. And I too have to give pep talks to myself and to them. But I say, it's like a catamaran. We're on a catamaran out in the ocean and the storm's hitting. And there's a few of us that are holding on under that sail. And that's the people that have stayed, the people that haven't left. We're holding on to that sail. And we just need more people to step on and hold on until it's calmer waters. And we're almost there. And I mean, we have Sandy who's running from fires, and she's still making a phone call for her state. I mean, Magdalena in San Francisco coming and calling in every week. It is really, it is touching to hear what Mike's saying. It is a moment in history. And I remember getting the calls from the people that were donating from all over the world, and they are all watching. They are all watching us, and they're all watching California, because where California goes, the rest of the country goes. It is so much bigger than just my business and just us. And everybody listening, please, even if you have friends and you can't get them on board, you don't get in an argument with them, just say, hey, this is what he's done. Here's the list. Just vote yes. And I don't care who you vote for. Just get him out. And this is amazing that we're living in this time and we have this opportunity. And I just want to thank everybody here and Mike and Orrin. He always inspires me and reminds me of how big this moment really is.
Yeah, it's a huge moment. It's a huge moment. And we have to do our part. And that is talk to your friends, talk to people, and don't argue with them. Don't tell them who to vote for. Just give them the facts. Please do that and tell them to check that yes, on the ballot when it comes around. Now it's mail-in, so that starts, I think it's August 16th, if I'm not right. August 16th, yes. And then it's I think ended by September 14th, right? Is when we should know, hopefully.
September 14th.
Yeah.
It will take a month to process everything and count it.
Yeah.
So until like mid-October, we may be in the dark a little bit.
That's true. So I just wanted to say, I'm so glad Daryl's here because he made his radio debut with me. So Daryl, I'm going to ask you the same question I'm asking everybody tonight. And that's, are you going to stay in California if Governor Newsom wins?
Well, I think he makes it harder and harder every day. And if he does survive, it'll just be that much harder. It seems every day you watch the news and there's another reason why you should vote yes to get him out. I mean, for the fires right now in Northern California and Mendocino, literally running out of water, but there hasn't been a water project in California. I don't know how many years. We're more, 99% of the rainfall that we don't get a lot of, but it goes to the ocean. Yeah. I mean, where's the plan? I mean, we're growing rice in California. That takes a rice paddy. That's a flood of water. So it's like, how much mismanagement can one governor do and then still survive? It's just, it blows my mind.
Yeah. And for people just tuning in, if you don't know this fact, and if you're teetering on, I'm not sure, Gavin Newsom gives his biggest donor $120 billion of a billion gallons of water every year. 120 billion gallons of water every year to one donor, his biggest donor. Now that is enough water to take care of Los Angeles and San Francisco for an entire year. And we are going to be rationed and our farmlands are dying. And we feed the nation here in California. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if you know how important our agriculture is here in California, but he is giving it to one large donor instead of people who are feeding this great nation of ours. We've got our resident liberal here, Christopher George. How have you liked the show tonight? And I know what your answer would be if Gavin won, even though you're not happy with him. But
what would my answer be?
I feel like you would probably stay.
It's not, I would probably stay, except all my friends have gone. So I don't have much of a choice.
So you have a lot of Republican friends?
Listen, it's not a Republican. I don't think this is, I don't like this guy. I mean, you don't have to be a Republican to not like Gavin Newsom. A lot of great points were made by Tim. This state epitomizes the American dream. This is the gold rush. This is Hollywood. This is entrepreneurs, people coming from all over the world, all over the country to, make their dreams come true. My family were immigrants, and I grew up in San Francisco, and had a mom and pop shop, and there was a place not for Amazon to succeed, where the little shops are closing down, like Angela's had all that trouble. My sister had a shop in San Francisco, had to close it down because she's paying rent and couldn't open the doors. And so this is not a Republican issue. This is a California issue.
Coming from a liberal, it says a lot. It does say a lot. You hear a lot of people. I'm independent. There's people who are Republican, Democrat on the show, but when you hear it from a liberal who's changed their tune, it says a lot.
Well, liberal wants the underdog, the little guy to win, and the little guys are dying. I mean, we lost population in the state of California for the first time in its history.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people know somebody that left the state? People are leaving. This is the place where everybody comes. Not everybody goes.
Yeah.
So I think something has to be done. Now, do I want all the, some candidates running against Gavin Newsom? No, I'm not going to vote for them. But will I vote yes to recall him? Absolutely.
Thank you. That's a great answer. Christopher George, our resident liberal.
Very nice.
Evan Wexel.
Hello.
Same question goes for you. Are you going to stay?
Man, I've scrolled through my phone so much to see all the names that now live in Texas and Tennessee and Florida and so on. And it depends. I'm kind of coming to grips with the passport thing. Just like I joined a gym a month ago, and now it's like I could be deemed not healthy for trying to make myself healthier for going into the gym. So it's a bit of a contrast. And again, you should feel safe if you've chosen to be vaccinated. Like, it should not matter. Like, that's the purpose of it. But it's rough. I mean, that's why I ran in 2020. I could name several legislators by name that are just the devil incarnate, and it just hurt them, like, to put these laws down that have like squashed freelancers and kicked kids out of school. My kid's on a clock. Once he hits 6th grade, he's got to get kicked out because of SB 276.
Wow.
So because he got injured, but he needs to get more injured for him to, I guess, continue to go to 7th grade and 8th grade. So it's just you've hit a roadblock in certain aspects of life. So it's tough. It's tough. I could see myself living here for another rest of my life, but I could see myself packing up in like 2 months and just being like, see ya.
Yeah.
It's all on the table.
You brought up a good point that I think is something we should definitely highlight is our children. Our children in this state. You know what infuriates me the most is that his children got private schooling through this.
The entire time.
His children were on the mountain skiing. The ski mountain where his children go, it never, ever closed. Do you know the winery that he owns? Nope. It never closed. And by the way, they got $3 million in PPP. Did you know that 10% of the country only got PPP? Just 10%.
And ironically, his winery's been looted like 5 times, but that's just a little bit of karma.
Right.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, we have families. We have the highest poverty rate. We have the largest taxes. We have families that have double families in apartments trying to use computers with their children to learn. The suicide rates on our children, how far behind they are in school.
have to stop because we have to take a break in 3 seconds, and then we're going to come back. We'll finish
it's
with
just
this.
outrageous. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Friday night at the French Laundry, we are revved up here. I'm Carrie Case. I'm filling in for Mike Nitter and Orrin Heatley. We'll be right back.
How could I forget that I had
AM 790.
Well, folks, for those that are moving out, and I keep teetering the thought back and forth, and I've lived in a number of different states. I've lived, I've lived in Maine, the other side of the United States, 3,200 miles away. The agriculture, you're going to find in your markets stuff that comes from California.
Yeah.
And so, and take a look at who's in the White House right now. A lot of California politicians. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff, Javier Becerra. Who's the other guy? Alex Padilla and Kamala Harris. So Dianne Feinstein's another. So I mean, there's a lot of people in power that are from California and in the White House. So the problem is going to follow you regardless of where you go. And you know, I realized that when I lived on the other side of the nation. You know, it was kind of funny to see a little jar of garlic that came from the town that I'm residing in right now here in California. And I'm trying not to reveal where I'm at right now. But yeah, so yeah, it will follow regardless. And you know, there's a saying that I've heard: who controls the water controls the land. And there's no water reserves. They've actually, you know, let the water reserves deplete. I don't know. They're holding the power right now, unfortunately. And yeah, again, those that control the water control the land. So there goes our crops. There goes a lot of different things. The prices of things are going to go up because of that. And as you heard just on the radio, you know, the rice paddy takes a flood of water to grow. And I remember seeing rice paddies up in the Sacramento area, up in the deltas. And it was beautiful to see. But I mean, it's just very unfortunate that, you know, we have to fight for our water now. That's just terrible.
Well, Tim, I don't know if you heard the reservoir, the water reservoir in Los Gatos, where the Alma Bridge is.
Yeah.
Every year, get this, that water gets thrown in the ocean. They drain most of that reservoir, and they throw the water in the ocean to save a fish.
Yeah.
And they don't care about the actual fish that live in that water. Doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense. And like, if we have droughts and if we have water shortage, why would you be dumping all that water into the ocean?
Well, I've heard in some reports recently that fish is not there anymore, the one that they're trying to save.
Exactly. And they can never give you the factual science behind their decisions.
Right.
And you know, I don't even know if, I mean, at this point, I don't even believe that there was such a fish.
Right. Yeah, I know exactly.
They do policies, and their policies create chaos, and they want to be the saviors, and they want to fix the chaos created by the policies they created. It's just nonsense.
Right.
Are we back?
No, not yet. Almost. I had to turn it up a little bit to hear. Oh, now we're back.
The French Laundry. On the menu tonight, a better California with executive chef Orrin Heatley and maitre d' Mike Netter.
Filling in for Mike and Orrin, I'm Carrie Kasem. Had an awesome show tonight. Angela Morrison and Evan Wexell. We got Christopher George and Daryl. We got Daryl.
That was a great movie in the 80s.
But you know what? We have another great guest, and he couldn't be here tonight. So I talked to him yesterday. I taped it. His name is Tommy Vext. Some of you know him. He's the lead singer of Bad Wolves. He's got like 6 #1 hits. He's got 400 million views on one of his songs. They did a cover called Zombie that just went, you know, the Cranberry Zombie. Wow. Well, he's a hardcore like rock star, and he covered it, and it was just unbelievable. It's kind of what blew them up. Anyway, he is, because of what he believes his, you know, social and political ideologies are, he got dumped from, you know, his label, his management. He lost his band. He's, you know, in a lawsuit now. But he's, you know, considers himself a patriot. And I said, look, I want you on. I want you to talk about this and the recall. So he said, absolutely. So yesterday, this is what we talked about. Tommy Vext. Tommy Vext, welcome to Friday night at the French Laundry.
Here we are, $300 a plate dinner.
That's right. You got lobbyists all around you.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I don't even have to pay for my dinner. It's amazing how that works. While other people are at home starving.
Right? I mean, unbelievable. That's why we're doing the show. It's like to let people know what's going on with this guy.
It's a lot of hypocrisy.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a lot. Yeah. We got to get this guy out of here.
Oh, yeah. And of course, just a couple days ago, it's now a mail-in only.
I find it extremely convenient that when Gavin Newsom is up for recall and Cuomo is under, he's not really under attack. He's just being brought to justice for his sexual abuse charges.
Yeah, I love how he's like,
now we gotta shut it down, everybody.
Right?
Shut it down.
Craziness.
For what?
Craziness,
Yeah,
right?
like there's 70% of conservatives already question the voter fraud.
Right.
Right. So and first of all, secondly, I guess I should say, all Californians want Gavin Newsom out of there. There are no Californians that think he's doing a good job. None. Not liberals, not libertarians, not conservatives, not moderates. Even the politically illiterate are like, whoever's running this, we got to get him out of there.
Okay. So I was doing Man on the Street this last week, and I'm talking to people about Gavin Newsom. Like, what are your thoughts? And I just let people ramble at first, and I had a couple people say, well, I think he really did a good job with COVID. Okay, he kept us safe. Okay. Now, what about the homeless situation? What about the taxes? What about the crime? And I cannot tell you the facts that I read to them and read off like a sheet that I had just prepared. They didn't know most of it.
Well,
they didn't know most of it.
Because unfortunately, Democratic leaders are protected by the media.
Yeah.
So the statistics are not service to the people. So the people that live in the cities that are being destroyed by these tyrannical morons, I have to believe that it's intentional because no one could be that dumb.
Yeah.
You'd have to have the IQ of a cabbage to run a state so deeply into the ground. Like, it has to be dubious.
It has to be intentional. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the fact that the media protects these people and does not service the populace with the statistics of how bad the state has become as a result of their negligence, intentional negligence, or complete incompetence. Depends. I'm not here to tell you what to think, but the evidence is irrefutable. Crime is out of control. Homelessness is out of control. The cost of living continues to skyrocket despite the massive exodus of the state, and there's no help for these. The homeless problem. I've been in recovery. I actually was just saying before we came on the show, my first job in recovery, I've been sober for 12 years. 12 years ago, I worked across the street at the dog kennel, making $8 an hour, taking the city bus to and from the rehab that I was living at the time, to now being, selling multi-million records and having toured all over the world and played in arenas. And now I'm doing a solo tour that's half sold out already. And, I had to find access at that time to social programs and things that were helping people who were homeless, because that's what I was, and drug addicts, whether it was 12-step recovery meetings and or places like the Grammy Association has Music Cares. I was a recipient of one of their scholarships that helped pay for my rehab because I had no money because I had just started working. And the problem is that the nonprofits don't have enough, and there's not enough resources to help this mass issue of homelessness and addiction.
Well, you saw what, I don't know if you did, but Governor Newsom said that he is going to direct $12 billion to combat the homeless problem, but it's going to take 5 years. So instead of to me, quite the obvious, and many people have brought this up, we have military bases that are not being used. They're completely vacant. And those are cities, right? So you put people, you give them their own room, their own home. They're, whether it's, if they are drug addicted, get them, some help, whether it's, hey, It's a family that's fallen on hard times. Let's get them, in their own home for a little while till they can get back up, or maybe they need job training. Or these are like floating cities. I mean, they're just massive cities where we can take care of those people. But of course, no, but let's not have that much common sense.
Well, there's also, I mean, most people don't know that downtown Los Angeles, most of the buildings are empty.
Yeah.
They're vacant.
Yes.
They're vacant properties.
Somebody just said that to me and said, I was downtown where I got assaulted, by the way. I literally have like a picture of the guy that was taken away by the police that wouldn't stop following me, and then broke a chair in Starbucks and came after me. And it was like, it took an hour for the police to get there. And look, I know they're busy and I know that I love them.
Yeah.
But
especially downtown.
It was crazy.
There's a lot going on.
You
want to know what's funny? And I'll talk, this is a very funny story. In a similar situation, I was in Venice coming out of Gold's Gym.
Yeah.
And there was a crazy homeless man, because the homeless have basically confiscated the entire surrounding streets where Google is and the gym.
Yes.
And a man with a palm tree branch was chasing two of the women going into the gym, screaming he was going to rape them. I came out of the gym and I had just witnessed this.
Yeah.
So I stepped in front of them. I started arguing with the guy. I almost got to the point where I thought there was going to be a physical altercation. And some woman who showed up late to the situation rode her bicycle up and started filming at me, yelling at this guy. And she's like, he's yelling at this homeless man, like he's abusing this homeless man. And I was like, what do you work for CNN? I'm like, did you not just see and then the two women who had the front desk call the police, and then everyone came out and like, what are you doing? Why are you filming him? Like this guy said he was going to rape us. And she was like, oh, I thought he was just yelling at the homeless people. And I'm like, this is the problem with libtardation, I call it. I'm like, you want to be a citizen journalist, that's fine, but you're sitting here and you're posting something to social media. And I said, I was like, go ahead. I called the woman you're gonna have to bleep that too. But it's like, this is the issue, is like, we have this whole, war on there's toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Listen, alpha males are needed, because when people are in trouble and they might not be able to protect themselves, and it's going to take time for the police to show up, it's my knucklehead tattooed muscle ass that's going to come and be like, hey, stop it.
Save the day.
Yeah. Well, it's not even saving the day. It's just people, I see people don't want to get involved anymore, and it's terrible to me.
Okay. So wait, yes. Let me tell you what happened. So thank God I had a cameraman, and he was in the military. So he's always armed, not necessarily with a gun, because you can't protect yourself here in the city of Los Angeles. But he had weapons on him, and he's like, look, just stay behind me, because the guy wouldn't stop following us. It was 3 blocks. We'd stop. He'd circle us. It was very creepy.
Yeah,
we'd keep going.
Very predatory.
Very predatory. Very
stuff.
predatory.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, this guy's, and he's like, don't walk into where you're going, because he'll just follow you. Just go to Starbucks. So we go to Starbucks, and he walks right in, right next to us. The guy, my cameraman, turns around and says, stand back. Stop following us. And the guy pushes through him and grabs a chair, literally breaks the chair in half, and then comes at us with these like sharp edges. And they're calling 911. And then we leave there, and I go to where I'm supposed to be. And I said, we have a guy following us. Can you please let us in? Wouldn't let me in. He's like, no. I'm like, I have a guy following us. We've called the police. Can you please let me in? Wouldn't let me in. Like, I was, nobody wants help. Nobody wants to.
It's also a lack. People are too stupid to know how to react in a life-threatening situation. I've been in multiple life-threatening situations, and so life will teach you by way of experience how to survive if you grow up in life-threatening situations. Most people are very soft by way of, their American privilege, right? Like, I don't think that there's no white privilege. It's not real. It's a complete fallacy, right? It's American privilege, which means if you're born in this country, you're born free. For example, I was born a crack baby. My mother abandoned me in the hospital with my twin brother. I got adopted into an alcoholic family. We were all so poor. I grew up on the streets of Brooklyn. Guess what? I decided to take responsibility for myself in my 20s, and I got clean, and I built a career for myself. And I changed the course of my life by making decisions, because who we are is the outcome of our choices,
Yes.
not the circumstances we've been put in a free country. Now, you take the entire situation and you plop it in China or Russia or Cuba. Doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
There's a glass ceiling. It's not even a glass ceiling above your head because it's barred. There are bars above you because you will never be able to ascend to a certain place because the system will not allow it.
And people are fighting for that here, to have that happen.
Well, that's because young people are indoctrinated by academia, and academia is being funded by communist countries to give this propaganda, and they believe that it's reality.
Unbelievable, especially in the Olympics, when you see people that take a knee or they,
The Olympic, I mean, this might be a controversial thing to say, but imagine in a tinfoil hat conversation that the Olympians are financially compensated by a communist country and are being forced to lose so that the nation looks weak on the world stage.
Who knows? Now because of how crazy this world is and what is happening, who knows?
Yeah, we're at war.
Yeah, agreed. So, because we got to wrap up,
Okay.
I got to, talk to you about Newsom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get him out of there.
Yeah, let's get him out of there.
I like Larry Elder. I've
He's
already endorsed him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think for me, personally, I think he has the integrity. I think he has the background. I think he has the tenacity. We're going to need a strong person to tackle these issues. And, every time someone tries to do something good, 20, Democrats try to shut it down or screw it up or sabotage it. And I just think he has the grit, and he loves this country, and he's a patriot. And I think, I don't want to be one of those people that just abandon California. I love this. I've been here for 15 years. I moved here from New York City. I chased my dream. I made all my dreams come true out here.
Yeah.
And the landscape and the diversity and the cultural diversity, and from rural to cities, that, I've lived all over the state, and I don't want to see it go to hell.
Yeah. I don't either. I mean, it's my home. I was born and raised here. But I am also, I'm fighting for it. Been fighting. I was going to move to Florida. I went there for 4 or 5 months, came back. I'm like, you know what? It's worth fighting for. I'm going to see how much this, this recall has done and what we can do. And hopefully he'll be out. And if he's not, I'll reassess. But I came back to fight. And I came back. I'm like, I love this place. I love my home, my friends, my family. But I also won't be under a tyrannical regime. I won't do that.
It's utterly insane.
Yeah.
It's utterly insane. And we're planning on, there's a couple of things. I know Aubrey Huff is organizing a march against the lockdowns. I'm now in talks with some people about doing a concert, but the concert is actually a protest.
Wow.
So that would probably be somewhere in Orange County.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So free music.
There you
and
go.
Free California.
I'll tell everybody about it, and I'm sure you will too. But yeah, when that happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. We got to do this again sometime.
For sure.
All right.
Has dependable traffic right now.
Wow, that was a good little segment.
Yes, it was.
So yeah, this is the last little break, and then we just got a few more minutes of the radio show, and we'll wrap up the show at the very end. Alma.
It is. I have thought about leave the state. I actually was looking for homes. I was targeting Georgia and Florida.
Yeah.
Texas, the prices in the homes went up. I have family in Georgia. I have family in Texas. I don't have family in Florida. But I mean, I keep thinking and thinking, California is worth fighting. And I mean, just the fact that we're facing this recall, that a lot of people is really involved, that it's really happening, I think is worth fight. Let's see if we can do this. And at least, okay, let's say that Gavin doesn't, in the worst case scenario, he wins again.
Okay.
He knows now that there's a lot of us.
Yeah.
And so that should scare him. I think he's scared, but he just goes and pretends that he's not. But I think he is.
Right.
I think he is.
Well, I'm gonna call in and talk about what we talked about in the last commercial segment. I want to bring that point back and make everybody aware that's listening on in the Los Angeles area, especially. Because yeah, I think everyone should know.
Mhm.
Let's see here. Yeah, we stop commercial.
Yeah, I was trying to call, and you know what? I did not save the number. So if you can give it so I can have it.
1-800-222-5222.
Okay, now I'm gonna save it.
It is Friday night at the French Laundry. We're stuffed. We've had so much. There was so much on the menu, right?
TGIF.
Yeah, I'm stuffed. But we got to, stuff with all the information that we've been giving you. And a lot of you already know this. But what we want you to do really is the boots on the ground, is getting out there and telling people that, you've got to vote yes. Yes on the recall. Yes on saying enough's enough. We want to take back California, right? And that's really, why Mike and Oren do the show, is just to really inspire people to get out there and tell people. And, if you can donate. And if you can do a fundraiser, do a fundraiser. But get out the word that all we need is that little check on the yes. Then vote for whoever you want. Nobody here is telling you who to vote for. We don't, endorse any candidate at all. So we're just asking, make 10 calls a week, make 10 calls a day if you can. I have a friend, Melinda, who went to a fundraiser, and Mike Huckabee was talking. And she was so inspired because he said that what happens here in California and whether we get rid of Newsom or not is going to affect the entire nation. Yeah. And he was very worried about what was happening with our farmland and how we were going to go into massive shortages. And he doesn't have to come from Arkansas and do this. He doesn't have to come over here. And he was on a tour from morning till night, like different cities throughout all of California, starting early in the morning up north, all the way down south, just to help us out, because he can see how important it is that, we say enough's enough, stop this. And so I have my friend now making phone calls, and she's a busy designer and this and that. She's making phone calls, making sure that people know there is a recall, first of all, and why. Because if there's not, if you don't tell them why, and you don't tell them why you're not, like a guy said to me on my, we've been social media friends forever. And, he's like, look, I don't agree with you, but we can agree to disagree. Always fine. I have friends who don't agree, and that's okay. But I said, look, these are my reasons. And he goes, oh, I didn't know that. I was like, oh, no, it's not good. So, go to, the,
recallgavin2020.com/reasons.
There you go.
There's a list.
What's your main reasons?
Oh man,
that's hard.
It's the school vaccine stuff. If you've had kids, that's high with that in AB5, because of someone like you come to California for the independence, the gig economy. You hustle from that venue to that venue, and there was a stretch where it was illegal to do comedy on stage. The owner would have to make every comedian an employee for doing like one little spot for the year. The logistics of it, it's beholden to big unions and big conglomerates.
What's scary, especially if you have kids, is that, the state is taking more and more control. Like an 11-year-old can now decide what medications and what vaccines that they want, and you don't have to tell the parent. What is going on? The state raising kids is communism.
Yeah.
It's worse. Totalitarianism. It's a dictatorship. It's tyranny. It's awful. They're not believing in the parents to raise your own children. And whether you believe in vaccines or not, I don't care. Fine, that's up to you. So, but do you want the state telling you what to do? I sure don't.
You just have to trust one another.
Oh.
You just gotta have a little faith in one another, because we're dividing ourselves left and right.
Yeah, very
They want
true.
us to feel divided.
Very true.
Yeah.
Angela, what's for you the biggest?
There's so many things. Obviously what got me here was almost losing my business, but talking to my fellow business owners and ones that lost everything. That is a really big thing, but there's just so many that what's being done to the children, the vaccine mandate, the taxes. You cannot, you cannot, our liberal was saying, a lot of first generation people come to California to start a new life in a free life, and they start with small businesses, and that's their way of making a living here. And as a woman, to own my own business was very, very hard. It's not easy. So, to have that dream 12 years, and this is supposed to be my retirement, and be able to afford a home, which I can't. I'm in a rent control apartment. Just squandered away, and then to be treated like we don't matter, just thrown away. I mean, we listened to a story here. Orrin had a woman call in. She was in her 70s. They were first generation from a communist country, came here. They built their wealth off restaurants. They owned their own home, and they were in their 70s. The woman said they lost everything, and that her husband literally committed suicide for the life insurance policy so she could live okay for the rest of her years.
But you can't collect on a suicide.
You can after a certain amount of time.
Oh, I see.
Apparently, I thought that too. But that's just one of many. I have a girlfriend that owns a restaurant in Los Feliz next to Birds, and first generation, her parents were from France. She inherits the restaurant, and her mom is in a home with Alzheimer's. Her brother is also in a home because he had a drug issue that put him there. And she's out there with her 80-year-old uncle trying to keep her restaurant alive that her parents built for her. And she's in tears and doesn't know what to do. And I mean, this stuff is just not okay. It's not okay.
It's not. Absolutely not. We only have a few minutes, and you're right. And those are the stories that people need to hear.
You just got to search on GoFundMe, and you'll see the California Fuel GoFundMe fundraisers that are going on.
Daryl, we got 2 minutes, so I want to hear from you. What's the most important thing to you that?
Well, I think like Angela was saying, just what he's done to not only small businesses, but when you get Hewlett Packard and all these that's a founding company of Silicon Valley leaving for another state, Oracle leaving, Tesla leaving. These are like major innovation companies. Disney shipping 2,000 jobs out. I mean, what he's done to the businesses in California is reason enough. But then you look at homeless and crime and everything else. It's, they have poop maps in San Francisco now.
I know, to avoid the poop and the needles. It's called a poop map. This is no joke.
This is not a joke. This really happened. A friend of mine, she thought I was kidding. I said, check it out.
Look it up. Okay. Our resident liberal, Christopher George. We have 1 minute, literally. 1 minute.
Daryl
So
just
take
stole
30
mine. I was going to pick the poop map because I had it right in front of me on my computer. As you can see, San Francisco is almost all brown. This is actually true. I mean, they got a map of all the human feces, which is emblematic of what's going on with this whole state. We got homeless people down the block from my house everywhere. You can't go anywhere right now while seeing homeless people. They're not just downtown. Anyway, so that would be my choice, poop map.
Yeah, the poop map. Okay.
The poop map.
So, yes, that's good. Oh, man. Well, please talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors, talk to your coworkers about this. It's so important. Don't get in a fight, but really get the word out. It's very, very important. Recall Newsom2020.com. Go to reasons. It'll tell you why. I'm Carrie Kasem. I've been filling in for Mike Netter and Orrin Heatley. This has been a great show. Angela Marson. We got Evan Wexell, Christopher George, and Daryl. We'll see you next week.
This show is sponsored by the official Recall Committee California Patriot Coalition. Recall Governor Newsom 2020. Number 1424018. Committee major funding from others include Rescue California, Recall Governor Newsom, Prop 39 LLC, DGB Ranch.
So, folks, you heard it first. This is not a Republican movement. This is a movement from everybody, for the people, by the people, for the state of California, and for the nation, for that matter. If you've all listened, even though someone from Arkansas is getting involved. Goodness. And, this is just not, they call us white supremacists. No, we're not.
No, we're not. Listen to me. We are not white supremacists. I'm so brown, as brown as they come. No, it's just mothers that want the best things for their children, parents, patriots, people who love freedom and who love choice.
Yes.
Choice.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, recallgavin2020.com. Donate today. We're going to make this happen, whether you like it or not.
Let's do this.
Have a good night, you all.
Bye.